This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first, I want to talk about something we all know way too much about: moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out, whether you're looking to move now or in the future. It's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast. I'm so fired up to have Karlyn Kagy on the podcast. Karlyn is the wife of Iowa State's Director of Football Strength and Conditioning, Coach Reid Kagy. Karlyn, thanks for being on today.
Thanks for having me. This is so fun.
And I love to have a strength and conditioning wife because you guys have a different perspective of things, the different schedule, different dynamic. There's a lot of involvement with the student athletes with your husband, even more so than position coaches' wives. And so to hear your take on some of this will be really fun. But before we get to all these fun questions, let's hear what game day looks like for you. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I would say I am like a pump up girl. I am like cheering the team on. I try to get like the excitement going. I feel like they feel our energy. So I like to like clap them, cheer them up. I would say pump up girl.
All right. What's your coach like on game days?
Can we use more than 3 words?
For sure. Let's go for it.
I would say he's going to rip your face off. Like he is all in. I mean, hardcore, like, in your face, let's go.
I love it. Okay, so you guys started at UAB, Toledo, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Oregon, Boise State, now back with the Cyclones. Your husband played college football for Mountain Union, won a national championship there. You've been a part of multiple bowl games, Liberty Bowl, Alamo Bowl. There's a few at Oregon that I've missed. I forgot to write down. A ton of success. So what, in your thoughts, from your perspective on your side, what do you think makes him successful?
I would say he is just like, he's a really hard worker. He puts everything out there. He loves to learn. He loves to get better. He truly believes that building the trust with the players is how they're going to trust him too. And I think that really helps his career, just building the trust with the players and creating that relationship with them.
Okay, so tell me about yourself. Where did you meet your coach? All the fun details.
Okay, so we met in Ohio. We both grew up in Ohio. I grew up in Dublin, Ohio, and he grew up in Tiffin, Ohio. He was going to Ohio State, and we met actually at a concert. I gave him my number through the security while he was working, and I don't think we had talked right away. I think it was a little while before we kind of connected and started hanging out. But I had no idea what this life would be like because he wasn't in it when we met. We were young. We were in college. I had no idea what this life would be like. So when he went to UAB, we had just gotten engaged. And that was my first sense of oh, okay. Yeah. I think I can do this, maybe, realizing what the life would be like and kind of growing my independence, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So you met him at a concert.
Yeah.
Who are you there to see?
Carrie Underwood. And I went with a bunch of friends. And I think my mom was actually there too.
And so you give your number to the guy working security, which is your now husband.
Yep.
I mean, this is a fun story. Yep. So he texts you, he's like, hey, I'm the person that met you at the concert.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I checked your bag. I don't even remember what he said. It was so long ago, but really I mean, we were so young and in college, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this will be funny. Like, and never thought that we would end up here.
Okay, so you described him earlier as very passionate and dynamic.
Yes.
Did you see that early on? Like you're dating, did
Yeah.
you see all that?
Yes, he is very family oriented, very involved, and I really early on I saw it with his family, the way he was with his nieces and nephews, and I really knew right then. I was like, man, he's gonna be good.
Okay, and so you're thinking about this, and he's telling you, "Hey, I'm going to go into coaching," and now, what you know about this profession? Hey, it's pretty
Yeah.
tough. So you didn't know then, but what
No.
was your initial reaction to it?
So we actually had just gotten engaged, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to UAB," and I was like, "Wait, like we're gonna do what?" Like we had just gotten engaged, but I was like, the engagement held it like secured. I'm like, okay, like this is gonna be fine. I'm gonna stay here and work since when you go into the football world at first, like you're literally working for free. I
Yeah, no
mean,
money.
yeah, you're just giving all your time. So I stayed back in Ohio, kept working, and then he went to UAB. And I feel like that's when I started to get an idea of like what this life was going to be like. And I grew my independence a lot through that period of time, realizing that I had to be independent and I had to be supportive because he was working long hours for free.
Yeah. It's eye-opening, definitely. Okay, so you're married, kids. Tell us all about that.
Yep, we've been married for just over 10 years now, and we have 3 kids. We have an 8-year-old girl and a almost 6-year-old boy, and then an almost 2-year-old girl.
And you have moved around, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so different places. Sometimes it's like super fun, and sometimes you're like, oh my word, this is overwhelming. This is too much. If you were to identify kind of a spot so far that's, hey, this is probably the toughest season we have been through, maybe not football, but personal. What would that be? What did you rely on? What kind of adversity have you guys walked through?
Okay, so we've like moved every time I swear I've had a baby. So we were at Iowa State. I had Kennedy, and then we were here for 2 years. I had Xander in November, and I think by January my husband was gone. So I had a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old, and he moved across the country to Oregon, and that was hard. That was hard. That was the first time I had been by myself, no family around, taking care of a newborn baby and a 2-year-old. And then again, I was 38 weeks pregnant, and we moved from Boise, Idaho back to Iowa State. And I was like, if we're going to go, we need to go like right now because we cannot wait. So I swear like the timing of they're like the babies and the moves always seem to go at the same time. So I think just like learning to let go and let it be. I think I've learned a lot about myself, knowing that like I can do this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I can do this, and it's going to be a little hard. And giving myself the confidence of like, we've done this before, and it's one day, one step at a time.
You're 38 weeks pregnant. You're going to obviously deliver a baby by a doctor you've never met before. Like you didn't even have any.
Actually, it was, believe it or not, with all of these moves, I have had the exact same doctor with all 3 of my kids. We have delivered all 3 kids in Ames, Iowa.
Look at that.
Yes.
That's good. There's provision there. I like it. Very, very good. That's exciting. But still, the transition being pregnant is really hard.
Yes.
And there's a lot of wives that can go, yes, I feel you. Or maybe some right now, they're about to make a transition and they're pregnant and they're sitting there like, what do you do? I mean, any tips for that? Like, how do you, because, obviously during that time, you just, it's just so much going on.
Yeah. I mean,
emotionally.
Yes, definitely. So we lived like in an Airbnb basically right before Christmas with 2 kids and pregnant. And honestly, it's just like, okay, let's make the best of this situation. Like, we found out that we were moving. We opened Christmas presents literally the day we were getting in the car, because we were like, these can't fit in the car. Like, we left our house as is, and it's just like, it is what it is. We're going to make the best of this. We did an impromptu like Christmas, open presents, get in the car, and then Christmas Day in this Airbnb, we're like, oh my gosh, we have to go like maybe buy some more stuff because we don't have anything to open now, because we had left it all in our house. So just really like letting go and realizing that like, let's make the most of the time that we're in, and what can we do to make it a happy situation for the kids? What can we do to make it easier on us? Realizing that like, it doesn't have to be this big, like Christmas is great. And like, but in our field and our, never knowing where you're going to be, if you're going to be home, if you're going to be in a hotel, like just making do of what you can, because kids, they don't care. They just want the magic, And so just giving them that magic wherever you are, whenever it may be, they don't care if it's Christmas Day or if it's 5 days before or after, they just want that magic of Christmas. So just letting it be like, if it's the 23rd, here we go. Like, just letting go. And that's been really hard for me, because I am a planner. I am a control person. Like, so letting go of that. And I think with every kid, you let go a little bit more and you realize like, it's okay. It's okay.
Now, there's something I want to ask you, kind of help us out here. So for some of the wives that are assistant wives and those that are head coaching wives and head strength coaching wives will kind of relate to some of this. But from your perspective, you were an assistant at Oregon, assistant strength, and then moved into the head role at Boise, and also now the head role at Iowa State. Mm-hmm. What are some of those biggest maybe differences or challenges or things that you've had to navigate having that head?
Yeah. I mean, I did not realize how involved it would be being the head. All the meetings he would be in now, all the nutrition part of it, making sure he's sitting with certain players at dinner to make sure they're getting enough calories, or, I didn't realize the involvement there, going from being the assistant where he could have a little bit more of a flexible schedule or not be in a meeting at time from time. And then when he got the head position, it's like he's in every meeting. He's working with every single department. He's working with the doctors, the athletic training staff, the nutrition. He's working with everybody to make this happen. And I don't think I realized that like his time is really going to, be all in when he became the head, because he is working with every single person on this staff to make it happen. So that was a bit of a change, I think, knowing that he didn't have as much flexibility, or he couldn't leave as early as he did maybe when he was an assistant.
And for you to handle those things as a young mom, so your kids are going to be 8, 6, and 2 right now. They're very, very young. There's some things that you put into place to kind of handle that, going, okay, I've realized that he is going a whole lot more. Are there some things that you do for yourself? Like, okay, I am going to hire a sitter to help drive this or clean my house, or something to be like, I don't really have his help as much as I anticipated.
Yeah. I have always really struggled with asking for help. Like, I'm getting better at it, I would say. I love to clean. I absolutely love to clean. So
you need to come down here. There's a whole kitchen.
It's like therapeutic for me. Like, I truly enjoy it. But I'm just now getting to the point where it's like, okay, I need some time for myself. I need a babysitter, and like, it's hard. Like, my daughter screams and it's terrible at first, but I'm like, this is good for her and this is good for me. And in order to be a better mom in the afternoon, like sometimes I do need a break. Even like sometimes I don't even know what to do. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just going to go spend money. Like, I'm just going to go to Target, or like go drive around and get a coffee. And, but honestly, like, I think just being at home with them and just like letting go. Like, if they're going to watch TV, like they're going to watch TV. If they want another snack and it's 5 p.m., I'm like, okay, like just realizing this is such a short period of time and they're going to be okay. Like, it's not going to be like this forever. And letting go of the feeling of like, I have to be this certain mom and we have to eat all these healthy things and we can't watch screen time. And, like it's me versus 3 kids. And sometimes it's like, okay, it's 5 p.m. I'm literally making dinner and you want fruit snacks. Like, cool. Like, I'm not going to fight with that with you, I think letting go is freeing. I truly think it's so freeing. So, I would say taking the pressure off yourself when you're by yourself is, to me, been very helpful.
That's a very good point there. Yeah. Taking the pressure off yourself when you're by yourself.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's said that on this podcast in 140 episodes.
I think that's
because we're by ourselves so much.
Yes. And then, that's like a quote I just live by. You think about all these other families who have extra hands, have family, like, yeah, they can do more. And we're by ourselves. So like, I can't be 25 different people and I can't expect the best version of me all the time. So I think that I just have to live by moving all the time, having young kids and just letting go of that.
And I think that it helps you because you're operating in peace instead of panic.
Yes.
Because you're putting so much pressure on yourself.
Yes.
And trying to do all things for all people, which is what I tend to try to do. Then you start panicking over small things. Mm-hmm. You can't get it all done, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's like, social media puts this presence out that it's like, okay, it's my kid's birthday and I need a balloon arch and I need a bounce house and I need custom cookies. And I'm like, you know what? All my kids' birthdays are at the same time. We're going to have one birthday party. You're going to get some donuts and everybody's going to be happy. Like, letting go of the sense of like, it's not my time to have that right now. Like if I just had one kid and, maybe that would be different, but like I have 3 kids and it's not my time to have a party like that. So that's another thing I think I live by. Like, it's not my time. It's not my time to sleep through the night. It's not my time to, insert whatever it's not your time for. And knowing that your time will come, but just maybe not right now.
What are some of the things that you think you're doing that's helping him maybe get some of these big time jobs? Let's be real. He is the head strength and conditioning coach at a Power 4 school in the Big 12. He's had some really cool experiences in his career. Is there something that you're doing on the back end that's helping?
I think I give him the freedom to like know that he's all in on his job. He knows that he can be there whenever he needs to be. He knows that if he's going to be late, like I'm not going to throw a fit at him. I'm not the type of person that's like, when are you going to be home? It's like, I'll see you when I see you, knowing that in order for him, it's hard when you do have kids because it's like he's being a male figure to a lot of these football players, but like we have a son too that, needs a male figure too. But then I think about like how my son sees how hard he's working for these kids. And I'm like, that's enough right now. I think just like giving him the confidence that like, it's okay to be there. And, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Like some nights I'm like, oh my gosh, like come home. But, I think deep down, he knows like he can be there when he needs to be there without feeling guilty that he's there.
Yeah. And that's really big. When you think about making big career decisions, obviously you have made some career changes and taken better opportunities along the way. What's the big process you use? Because obviously he's been, Boise State, to go over to Iowa State, how do you navigate some of this?
Okay. Well, I am like, don't tell me till it's like serious. Like I am the complete opposite of like everybody checking Zillow 24/7 and like, let me look in this area and look. Like I am the complete opposite side of the spectrum. I am like, don't tell me till it's real. So for me, I feel like when there's the chatter and the talk, like that overwhelms me. And I'm like, I can't think about something that could not happen. I want to think about something that is actually going to happen. So I feel like the biggest thing for me is just being like, okay, tell me when this is real. Tell me when I need to look into choices. Otherwise, like, just let's not talk about it. Let's just keep going. Like, yeah, just like, because I think I was like that more when I was like younger and didn't have as many kids, but like, that's just one more thing for me to worry about and stress about when sometimes like those jobs fall through, and there's so much chatter about different people going different places. And, I think it's hard when you put those different ideas in your head, and then you're like, oh, never mind, like, we're not even going there. So I just wasted all that time and all that energy on something that literally didn't even happen and was just like kind of put out there in the world. So I feel like we kind of handle it differently of, don't tell me until it's like 100% serious.
And that's good too, because on the other side, like you're talking about, there's some wives that are like, they have the whole thing picked out, right?
Yeah.
The house, the part of town,
yeah.
And
and then nothing ever comes of it, and you're like, wow, like I found the perfect home on Zillow, and now I can't live there.
I should send this to the staff that got the job. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I found the place where you should live.
Yeah.
I know. The biggest network we have should be like, well, we thought we were getting it, but here's all the stuff. What I also thought about is we should be able to have a place, maybe we should put it on my website, coacheswife.org, just like switch the clothes. You know what I mean? Like,
there's like the free little library. It's like free little staffing clothes.
Free little staffing clothes. Here, it's in this closet when you get here. Just go ahead and pick it up.
Just like
it's weird. Yeah. I know. I don't know why we don't do that.
I know.
I mean, we've all bought the hair bows, the onesies, the thing. We really should help each other out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But we don't.
There should be a swap for sure.
There should be a swap. Be like, hey, in the kindness of our heart, we're passing it to you.
Yeah.
So the toughest part about these professional decisions we make is, not looking back and going, hey, was this the right one to make? Did this pan out? I mean, have you faced that where you're kind of second guessing some things? Like, obviously now you don't talk about your decision now, but like, have you walked through that where you're like, oh, was this the right thing for us?
Yeah. You know what? I think that each like stop that he's been at, really, it grows us and it gives us a new experience. And I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm like, gosh, why did we do that? Like, we've grown from experiences, we've learned from experiences. And sometimes it is a hard decision. Like, should we not, but ultimately, like, you end up in the situation for either a learning experience or, to grow yourself. So I don't think I've really ever regretted or been like, gosh, why did we do that? Just because I try to take it as like, let's grow from that. Let's learn from that. What can we do differently type of situation.
How do you maintain balance for you? Do you go work out? What's your therapy? Are you Netflix and chill? Like, what's your thing?
I mean, I love to clean. I love to organize. I like to share about it. I have become so independent through all this that I just try to find like little things that this brings me joy right now. And sometimes that changes. But right now, I think I do a lot of cleaning.
That's amazing.
I do a lot of cleaning. I do a lot of some days I just take the kids' clothes out of the doors and I refold them. Like, just like a
wow.
I'm not like much of a TV watcher. I am not very good at sitting still. So I wish that I was better at that, but I'm just like, I like to be busy. I like to do things. I do like to like work out sometimes, or, go for a walk on the treadmill or take my daughter for a walk on the stroller. But every day it kind of changes, I would say. Some days I'm like, I really want to do this. And other days I'm like, I have no desire to do that today. Like, so just finding the independence in myself and finding like what that day kind of brings me a little bit of joy in the day to get through. I feel like it's kind of been helpful.
I'm impressed. We need to be neighbors because I feel like that we have different strengths and the organization of drawers is not my strength.
That's okay.
I've never admitted this on the podcast. This is some, we
Okay.
have a sock bucket sometimes, and we all dig out of this clean sock bucket, and you just, you know.
Okay, so I keep my kids' socks in the shoe bins. Like they each have a shoe bin, and then I have a bin inside the shoe bin that's their socks. So like their shoes and socks are in the same spot. Instead of like going to their room or like going downstairs, I will just keep all the socks with the shoes.
Okay, all right. We'll try this.
See if that works.
My sister comes to visit, and she says, "What in the world? Why are there 50 socks over here?" I don't know, but feel free to go fold those up for me if you want
to. If you want to go match them, go for it.
Go for it. So just actually making the kids do it. That's that's a good
that
chore.
That could be a fun activity for them.
Yeah, they don't really think so, but okay. Day in a life for you. You said it changes, but what's that look like?
So I stay home with my kids, and in the morning it's like the chaotic rush of getting lunches packed, getting breakfast. It's 3 against 1. So my daughter's really good about like helping with lunch, getting her breakfast and whatnot. But the morning is just like a mad dash for 30 minutes, packing lunches, getting breakfast, getting the library books. And then I drop them off my 2 older ones off at school. And then I feel like then when I come home, it's like, okay, time to reset the house, picking up from breakfast and lunch. And usually my daughter will watch like a little show or play magnet tiles. She's really into those right now. And then it kind of depends on the day. Yeah, some days it's like I have errands to do or, just like house chores around the house. My daughter goes to a music class during the day, meeting with other friends who have kids, maybe like getting a little play date together. And then pick my kids up from school. And then it's like the evening rush of, activities, dinner, bedtime, obviously 3 against 1 again. It's like, all right, here we go. Buckle up, but again, like creating independence in my own kids too. Like, you can do this. Like, I need you to go get the toothbrush and I need you to go get your pajamas, and helping them grow the confidence in themselves that like they can do stuff on their own too. A lot of times I tell the kids, like, it's just me and like, I can't do 5 things at once. So I need you to help me and I need you to go do this. Or, right now mommy needs to help Reagan and I need you to sit in your bed. And, my 5-year-old, he kind of can read, not fully yet, but, do like your I Spy book or a search and find, while I'm getting the younger one to bed. And then my older one, I'm like, hey, you need to go downstairs and start reading. So like giving them jobs and tasks to help me ends up making the evening go a little bit smoother.
Yes. Are they playing sports yet?
Yeah. So my son did flag football and my daughter did soccer and cheer. And then now we're coming up, fall sports have ended and winter sports are beginning. So we had a little setback. My daughter broke her wrist in soccer, in a tournament. So she just got out of her brace I think it was like a week or 2 ago. So she's kind of been recovering and then she'll be ready. Probably, I think that she has like another 2 weeks or something till she can do activities again.
How much involvement do you have going up there to bring the kids up to see your husband and kind of the culture there of being able to visit or have an impromptu picnic? What's it look like there at Iowa State?
So on Wednesdays, my kids get out early. It's early out Wednesday. So that's like the day that we do like to go up there and visit my husband at the facility. They like to run around and, he has like a late lift some nights. So he'll have like a little mid break in there. It's like, an hour that we can go in and like, sometimes he just plays catch with my son or my daughter tells him about his day and is like doing gymnastics on the bars in the weight room. And, they're really family friendly. So if you need to stop in, if you want to stop in, like drop things off, like they're really great about like letting that happen. So we try to go, I think as they've gotten older and as we've had more kids, we are there less and less just because we're busier. Like when I just had one or they were younger, it's like we had more freedom of like, they're not in school, they're not in any activities. So we could like drop by there more. now it is like a little harder because they're in school all day, they have activities. So it's like you have a short period of time where maybe you could stop by for a little bit. But usually like Wednesdays when my kids have early outs, we always make a stop at the gas station. They get a treat for early out, and then we usually go visit him. So
how much interaction do they have with the players? How much connection thing do you guys do? How do you reach out to them?
Okay, so I think that's different for like the strength side because we don't have a position group. We don't have a set of guys that it's like, these are like the guys that we're connecting with, we're bringing treats to. It's the whole team for us. My husband works with the whole entire team all year round. So a lot of times, like the relationship is almost built like from the players with my son or my daughter. If we're at practice, like there's a player who's randomly playing catch with my son, and then, that kind of relationship or that bond is built. And then, that's where I can like talk with them or chat with them. Some guys are in the weight room separate, like lifting at a different time because of class schedules or whatever. So, sometimes we'll see a smaller group in the weight room, and that's when you can kind of connect with them versus like the whole, position group in a weight room or whatever. I definitely think it's a little harder for me personally, just because it's not like I have a set of players, and to do something for the whole entire team for me would be just too hard right now. I know there is some people that are able to like give to the whole team, but like right now, like it's not my time. I have 3 young kids at home. Like I need to take care of them. But being able to see like them coming in and out of the weight room, coming in and out of my husband's office, like asking questions. If we're up, they have like a dining hall. So if we go up to dinner, like seeing the players that my husband's eating with, being able to chat with them, then that's kind of how I can build the relationship. And I'm sure that's different for everybody. Some people are probably more involved than others, and can have the drive to like meet every single player or, have the relationship. But like right now, for me personally, like having 3 really young kids, I don't have a huge like set of time or energy that I can like give that. I love just the relationships that my son builds, like playing catch when my daughter's running around and they're talking to her about like her gymnastics tricks or whatever. Seeing the players interact with my kids is for me like, oh, like that helps me grow a relationship with them, because then we can start talking like, do you have nieces or nephews, or, like building that relationship with them. Maybe as they get older, we'll be able to do more, and I can involve them more in, getting to know each player a little bit more. But I think right now this has been a good balance for our family.
And there's some wives that could be watching this podcast that will be named a head football coach's wife at a university.
Yeah.
And they'll be making their staff. They'll be pulling together. Okay, we're going to have the OC, the DC, the strength and conditioning coach.
Right.
What advice would you give that head coach's wife about the importance that the strength and conditioning staff is to the program, and including those wives in every single thing? Because in some programs it's just arms wide open, that the staff is included in every single thing, and sometimes it can be position coaches' wives are included on certain events. Do you have any thoughts on this at all?
So every school has been different, some it's like only the head wife is included. Sometimes it is just the position coaches. I think, it's like everything's not permanent. It's not forever. I think that a lot of times, like as a head coach looking for a strength coach, you're looking for somebody who is going to be there all year round. They are with them all off season. Like they know everything about them. So somebody that's like willing to build those relationships and give that time, I think is something that like they as a head coach would want to look for. I'm not a head coach, so I don't know for sure. I don't know that I have a bunch of advice on like what they would be looking for, because I'm not sure, but I think for my husband, it's like he's giving all year round and he's there all the time for all of the players.
And how important is it for you as an on the strength side to be included in a lot of the events for the coaches' wives and staff? I mean, that means a lot. You're also there
Yeah.
in the town, living away from home,
Yeah.
to be included in some of these events. I think our
Yeah.
head coach's wife here at FIU, Trisha McIntyre, does an incredible job.
Yeah.
It's all of us. It's
It does.
strength.
Yeah.
It's athletic training. It's, director of football operations. All the wives are included on things. And I think that, wow, it's so powerful to build those bonds, no matter what your spouse does within this organization.
And I think that can get tricky in a sense, like, depending on what school you're at. And it does get hard because it's like, okay, we have so many people involved in football. Like, there is so many people that make this happen. And, there's certain events where it's like, okay, this event is for position coaches. And usually I would say most schools I've been to, it's like the head strength wife. There is different events where it's like, if it's just out of football, and we're getting wives together, it's anybody. We are all in this together. We are all learning together. And the only way for us to grow as a team outside of it too is to get us together. And I think we do a great job of like including everybody here too. I mean, everybody is just wonderful, like absolutely wonderful. And, we are all in this together. We are all trying to work towards the same goal. And there's just so many people behind making a game happen that I don't think people realize that. Like, there's so many things that go behind a college football game. So having all of those wives who are making that happen, I think is important so that they're seen too.
Yeah. And one of the things you learn, when you move to a new town, or there's some things that you've learned along the way to get connected with your community or otherwise, what's worked well for you? Because you moved across the country.
I know. We've been everywhere. I know. As my kids have gotten older, like with them being in school, it's been 100 times easier. When they were younger and we were at home, like it's hard to meet people. It's really hard because you don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. And, as a younger mom with younger kids, it's like, okay, do I want to pack everybody up and go out when it's sometimes easier to stay home? But I think putting yourself out there, like as a younger mom, it will help as much as like, sometimes it's really hard for the 30 minutes you got out, but that's, if you don't put yourself out there and you don't go out, then you can't expect to meet anybody around the town. Right. And then as they've gotten older, they kind of meet friends for you.
Yes, I know. It's very helpful.
I mean, I hate to say that, but they do. Like your kids' friends, you meet their parents and like, you become involved in the activities that they're in. I've met moms through soccer and flag football and a lot of the kids in my kids' classes. So as they've gotten older, I feel like it's easier to get involved in the community. Whereas like maybe when we were in Oregon and I had really young kids, it was a lot harder because I was like, gosh, I'm nursing. Like, do I really want to leave with a 2-year-old and a baby right now? Like, and then COVID happened while we were in Oregon. So I was like, gosh, like, I don't even know if I met anybody in Oregon when we were there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I really met many people. But putting yourself out there and like being willing to create relationships like in the time being, I think sometimes we have this back thought of like, well, I'm not going to be here forever. Like, why do I want to make new friends? Or like, why do I want to build these relationships if I'm not going to be here forever? But like being in the current, like present time, like, okay, right now, like this is what I need. Or right now, I have this really great friend and I'm going to cherish this time. And like, you know what, maybe I move away and we're not, and maybe I move away and I'm still best friends with them. I feel like I've always had somebody that every stop, it's like, I hold on to and I still talk to no matter what, So being present in the spot that we're in with the people we're in makes a difference for me.
Final question for you before we hit rapid fire. What's the most rewarding aspect to you about being a coach's wife?
I mean, all the experiences we've been through, all the places we've been, we went to the Rose Bowl, like an awesome experience. I mean, the different states we've lived in, the different people we've met. I mean, everything is an adventure, and we learn from it. We grow from it. We see different types of people, different places that we would have never gone. Like if he wasn't in this field, we'd probably be living in Ohio with the same people and, you know, around our same friends and family. And now I'm like, we have been to so many different states. My kids have been all around the country, seeing all types of different things, and having all those experiences for myself and my kids is really rewarding.
Okay. Who's the most famous person in your phone?
I don't know that I really have anybody famous. Maybe like a past coach we've worked for. I don't really think I have many famous people in my phone.
Okay, no problem. What's one item on your bucket list that you have checked off and one left to check off?
Okay. That I've checked off would be the Oregon coast. It is so beautiful. The coast, like driving down there, seeing all these like really cool, you know, like hiking places and waterfalls and, you know, all those, like that was definitely a bucket list. Like that's really cool. And then I would say something left to do. Iowa State's going to Ireland next year, and I am so excited for that to play, to take the kids to have that experience, to go out of the country and play. Like I am really excited about that experience. That would be really cool.
Very, very fun. Who are the last 3 people you have texted?
My neighbor, for sure. She's like my go-to person. I lean on her for a lot. So constantly she keeps me in mind. She keeps me in check. My husband, and then probably my family group chat that we have.
Those are good. Funniest account you follow on Instagram?
Oh gosh. God, there's so many good creators out there. There's so many funny mom accounts. I don't know that I could just name one. There's so many good, funny, like I look for the ones that are real funny people that are like talking about mom life or, you know, open and honest. I love any of those.
Without question. Okay. What about your life impresses your kids?
I'm not sure they get it, honestly, yet. I'm not sure they realize how cool it is. I think they think like everybody's dad works for football. Like sometimes they'll ask me like, oh, is this person's dad going to be there? I'm like, no, he doesn't work for football. Like, I'm not sure they're quite like, maybe my oldest is just now getting there. She's starting to realize that, but I don't know that they realize like how cool it is to be on the field and, you know, be at the games, and it's just life for them. This is what's normal for them. They know no different. So I'm not sure if they fully get it yet.
What would be your walk-up song?
Old like R&B, some gosh, I don't know. I am like the type of person, I like to put my headphones in and it's like, you know, old pop songs, things my kids should not be listening to. I have a specific one that I'd be like, this is what I'm walking out to. It maybe be like a mashup of a bunch of different songs.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Karlyn, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.